There we go. So I have a very simple goal. I'm a very goal-oriented person. Everything I do in life, boy, I set a plan and I achieve it, just one after another. And my goal is like super easy. When you walk out that door 1 hour from now, I want you to see waves like you have never seen it before. I want you to be electrified like Tesla's coil. I want you to say, oh my gosh, I had no idea what lean was about. The ground rules, though, for this talk are very, very simple. You ready? This is it. Lean is simple and lean is fun, period. If you try to complicate it, I'm afraid you might fail. I travel all over the world, been in 54 countries, been in some of the best manufacturing plants in the world. And the one congruency in all these different locations of the ones that succeed are as they've taken a seemingly very complex business formula and reduced it down and made it so simple that everybody can get it. And then the ones that go to the next level add in the fun component. So there was a professional study done a while back by Harvard. It took 5 years and $5 million to determine why students learn. What was the ingredient that allowed some students to excel and the rest to just do okay? And it turned out, after 5 years and $5 million, can't emphasize that enough, that it was just two things. They show up to class, and they sit in the front row. But we needed Harvard to tell us that. I don't get it. Why do we want to make things so complicated? So the reason why people want to come to our facility and see what we're doing is because we have a culture that is 100% engaged. That's kind of a staggering thought. Could you imagine 100% of your people getting lean? 100% of your people walking in the door every morning and saying, this lean thing, it's amazing. And today, my life is going to be transformed at yet another level. We are not going to be doing the same thing and getting the same result as we did yesterday. We're going to be doing something different today, and we're going to be getting a better result. It's possible. I like to illustrate really what's going on in most organizations. As I travel around and visit manufacturing plants, again, around the world, I see a reoccurring theme, and this is it. And it's called torturing your customer. So I want you to ask yourself a question as I show this next slide. How long would it take you to change the tire on your car? 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes? I know you might call AAA because it's a pain in the butt. The process is not very clear. The directions, you don't know where they are. So this is what it looks like. I want you to pay attention to the customer here, the guy, the driver. He's a happy guy. Life's good. Yeah. Look at this guy standing around waiting in the back there. It's a well-oiled machine right here. Yep, that's what we're doing to our customers day in and day out. You know, they want something, but we rarely deliver. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is the world that I live in.
In the pit lane, out of everybody. This is Fernando Alonso's stop. It was actually the fastest single stop. And look at the guys. They look so relaxed, but there he goes. All four wheels changed and out in 3.3 seconds.
Watch how relaxed they are.
In the pit lane.
Look at the stress on their face. I want you to pay close attention to these guys.
It was actually the fastest single stop. And look at the guys. They look so relaxed, but there he goes. All four wheels changed and
now that's a happy customer.
3.3 seconds.
This is what lean delivers, operational excellence. It delivers flow. When you do lean, it looks simple. Now, I got a feeling that any one of us could step into that pit crew because it is so well managed and so well run, and the process is so refined that in a short period of time, one of us could replace one of those people in there. Because we have great, I want to emphasize, great processes. And baby, was I organized. Man, my place was buttoned down. It was cool. People walked in and go, wow, this is crazy good. I've never seen, it looks like an airplane hangar. It's so clean in here. And I had my inventory all managed and perfectly faced off. Everything looked great. But unfortunately, and this is probably the scariest thing of all for most people, lean is not about being organized. Because you can organize waste. And I was the master of it. Let me tell you. So most people are thinking right now, hey, I have this lean tendency. I'm a very organized person. That's the way my mind's wired. And I'm already kind of lean. Wrong. You aren't even close to lean if you're organized. Because unfortunately, lean is not about being organized. Lean or organized is a byproduct of being lean. There's a big difference. Because you can have tons of inventory and be very organized and have great systems, but you're basically just rearranging the chairs on the Titanic. You're not doing anything else. The lean burrito. In an attempt to always find ways, this is my burrito that I'm eating. Now they asked me when I bought it if I wanted sour cream and hot sauce. And I said yes. So instead of putting it in the burrito, they gave it to me in a separate container. I have an idea. Next time, put the sour cream and the hot sauce in the burrito. Okay, I just finished my burrito, and this is all the waste. We have the aluminum foil that's going to be thrown out, the paper that's going to be thrown out, the container from the salsa and the sour cream. We have 2 napkins, one I didn't use, and a whole little box here with a plastic fork and a plastic knife, all going to be put in the landfill for 1 burrito. All I really needed was the aluminum foil to wrap it in, and that was it. Sour cream, everything could have been inside. In 1 napkin, I would have made less of a mess, and I would have been perfect. Look at all the waste.
Check out this waste. We did a spreadsheet. 4 cents for the carton. The knife and fork, 6 cents. Everything added up to 31 cents of waste per burrito. 30 burritos a day, $9.30 times 7 days a week, 52 weeks. $3,385 per store. If you take 31 cents a burrito times 10 million burritos a day in the U.S. alone, that's $3.1 million in the landfill. That's total waste. Okay, I'm back at the local coffee shop, Curb Shops, and we're going to get ourselves a lean burrito. Watch how this is done. Hi, Gina. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Can I get a lean burrito?
Sure.
I want a burrito with sour cream, hot sauce inside, aluminum foil, and nothing else in 1 napkin.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks, Gina. Here it comes, the lean burrito. What do we got? Aluminum foil, 1 napkin. Wow, that's amazing. Look at all the waste we eliminated. With the sour cream and everything inside. Isn't this yummy? Look at this thing. All ready to go, just the way I wanted it, just what the customer wanted, and no more and no less.
We measure the success of our lean culture by whether or not our people do lean at home. If they're not doing lean at home, we're doing something wrong. And our people all do lean at home. It's so exciting to see what happens. So we teach it to our customers. We say FastCap is not a product development company. We're a lean company that happens to produce cool products. So we teach it everywhere we go, and we start getting these really, really cool results. And this is one. This is Greg from Xylem Design, a cabinet shop that makes pedestal designs for Tiffany and does all kinds of great stuff. 1 year ago, they started to embrace the 2-second lean model of making small, incremental improvements every day and requiring it from all their employees. They started meeting with their people, and they started innovating off the charts. This next one happens to be one of my favorite videos of all time because for me, as a builder, this makes a lot of sense. So here we go. Fix what bugs you.
Problem with drill indexes. Most drill indexes come complete, but that honeymoon ends very quickly because the small bits disappear, get worn out, or break, and over time, some of the larger bits do the same. The frustration that people have in manufacturing environments is that you need a lot of people to be able to have access to a full bandwidth of bits. So you end up buying bits in bulk. When you buy bits in bulk, whatever bins they go into, typically it's difficult to get the bit back into that bin anyhow, and the way you do that, if you're going to return it to a bulk bin, is to typically go to a gauge and play around with it until you figure out which hole it really belongs in. This is inaccurate and profoundly wasteful in terms of its time. It also leads to this state of affairs, which is people don't want to hear about it or deal with it, so they collect over time, and no one really knows where they belong. We solved this problem at our facility by designing a drill index that is color coordinated. You can see that the colors are divided by fractions, and they're all relevant. So we have eighth, quarter, 3/8 and half, and the 64ths are lined up, and thus and such. So even the ring around it matches. It is pretty much impossible to screw up, and when you find a drill bit sitting out, instead of ignoring that bit, as historically has been done, you just know darn well that all you have to do is drop it in the index, and you're certainly not going to confuse this green with 5/64ths. So it really is, it's really been one of the most impactful examples of a well-executed lean concept, and we've enjoyed it to pieces.
Who doesn't want that? Everybody wants that. We show that to people. When you take a tour of our facility, we take you into our engineering department, which we affectionately call the bitchin' department, because everything we make is bitchin', and if it doesn't meet that criteria, we don't make it. And we go ahead and show people this thing, and I go ahead and grab 10 drill bits, real quick, 10, randomly grab them, and I put them in a CEO's hand, and I say, go ahead and put them away. And they get, the first thing they do, they go, and they put everything away perfectly. Because lean is simple. It takes complex processes and makes them simple. It makes them elegant. It makes you say, yes, I want to do that. It takes away struggle. They simply fix what bugs them. I want you to notice something else about that. He shot that with his iPhone. He's now transmitted that concept around the world. People get to see the beauty and elegance of lean because he simply didn't overcomplicate it by hiring a film crew, creating a film department, buying expensive cameras. He simply took out his iPhone and said, here's the problem, and here's the solution. He was able to show that to his entire team, all 30 of his employees, and then all the new hires get to sit down and watch that. He's communicating. He's developed a library of learning that's engaging and interesting because he kept it simple. And that's all I'm suggesting. Pick up your iPhone, pick up your Droid, whatever it is, pull it out, show me the problem, show the solution, upload it to YouTube, make a YouTube channel, and start building a culture. And you know what's interesting is we have a real problem today's day and age. We have two different generations. We have the current generation, which is very techy. They love technology. They're Facebooking, you know, they're Twittering, they're doing all this. And then there's the rest of us, 53 and older. We're not so good at that stuff. But this concept joins the two together because even us old guys can figure out how to do this. It's not hard, right? And the young people, they're proficient at it, and they love this stuff. So now you've got engagement at a whole different level. And when you get engagement, you get more ideas. And when you get more ideas, you get more engagement. And then you get more ideas. And all of a sudden, you've got this rapidly growing and dynamic lean culture based on a couple simple principles. Number one, we're going to keep it simple. Number two, we're going to teach people to see the waste. Greg clearly sees the waste. And he eliminates it and empowers his people to do it. They stop what they're doing at a moment's notice. They make the video, and the rest is history. So last year, I had a great time. And Art Byrne, who is a fabulous lean thinker, he wrote the book Lean Transformation. I interviewed him on my show. And he took to me, and I feel very fortunate that a man of this caliber wanted to mentor me. And he said, Paul, you know, we happen to do a lot of injection molding. We're pretty big in that. And he said, I really want you to go to Belgium to see one of my companies, a Celti. We make injection molded parts for office supplies. and I want you to go and see. And I said, Art, can I bring some of my people? So I took 3 of my employees. We went on a lean tour all over Europe. We had a fabulous time. And I went into Art's company at Acelti, and I saw something, frankly, I've never seen before in all my trips to Japan and everything else. And I'm going to show it to you right now. And I think one of the things I want you to take away today is lean is not lean. Lean is earth-shaking. The difference between real lean and pseudo-lean is the difference between that side of the room and that side of the room. It's like we're not even in the same league. So last week I spoke at the National Plastic Association up in Indiana. And these guys are experts in injection molding. You know, they have hundreds of employees. They have shifts that run around the clock. And I showed this video, and they looked at me like, that's not possible. Well, here you go. I'm going to describe what's going on here as it happens. This is an injection molding machine, and that's a 10,000-pound mold right there. That operator has just been signaled to come change that mold because they're a just-in-time shop with no inventory. Did you hear what I just said? They're a just-in-time shop with no inventory, and they're plastic molders. He has just disconnected the water and the hydraulic lines to the mold. He is dressed in white because they want to know whether or not he's stressed out and if the job is too difficult. He is about ready to change a 10,000-pound mold in 5 minutes. Now, prior to this, that takes 8 hours to do in 3 people. They're crawling all over the machine, on top of it, and everything else. He rolls a cart in place effortlessly with one hand with a little tiny wheel with no motor. Everything's done just on his own. He lowers a little tiny drawbridge down, and he effortlessly rolls a 10,000-pound mold with no bolts or anything out of a machine. The last part that was shot was perfect, and the first part that he shoots will be perfect. He takes it out, and then again, with one hand, this massive piece of steel rolls it out of the way, effortlessly. Nobody helping him. He's doing it all on his own. Meanwhile, there are machines all over the facility that are making exactly what the customer wants when they want it. His tools are perfectly positioned. He goes in and he wipes off the platen, puts a little bit of lubricant on it to make sure it doesn't rust. He cleans it, puts it back, effortlessly walks over to another mold that has been pre-staged. These are my people jumping in. They can't even believe what they're seeing right now, and we know what we're doing. He's got a mold that's been preheated, so there's no waiting. So the mold is already heated and effortlessly disconnects the preheating element. Then effortlessly again rolls a 10,000-pound mold into a machine. He's barely breaking a sweat, dressed in white. Then he gets it in, lowers the drawbridge back up, or raises the drawbridge back up, moves the mold out of place, out of the way, to go down to the end of the machine to get the next mold that's going to go in to produce exactly what the customer wants when they want it, just in time. So in the process of doing all this, Art Burns' company, Acelti, has eliminated an 80,000 square foot facility of inventory they were carrying. Millions and millions of dollars. He just put the mold in, hit a couple buttons, hydraulic clamps came, secured the mold in place. The screw is starting to screw in the back and fill the barrel. I speed it up a little bit here just for your own sake, just so you can see it go a little bit faster. The mold opens up the first time. He sprays a little release agent on it, closes it back down, hits the cycle button. First shot comes out, looks at it, he's going, God, hard job. Used to take 8 hours, 3 of us. And in under 5 minutes, he does the impossible. Remember that movie I showed of the Indy racing crew, or the Formula One racing crew? How effortlessly they did it. And in 4 minutes and 50 seconds, the operator walks away. He doesn't even wait for the first part to come out because he knows it's going to be perfect. That's lean. Now, I want to ask you a question. That is a very sophisticated $1 million machine you watched. The mold, $150,000, $200,000. How many of you think that in 5 minutes we could walk into that factory and you could learn to do what he just did? And the answer is, I think most of you would say I could do that. That's the way every process should be. As a matter of fact, that is how we measure the processes at FastCap. Everything we do can be accomplished by someone on the outside who has no experience. They could walk into our processes and learn everything in 5 minutes. Not everything in our company, but any single process. The information can be transmitted and it can be accomplished by someone with no knowledge. because that's what lean should be about. It's not about making things complicated. It's about simplifying things. One of my favorite quotes in the whole world is from Colin Powell. Colin Powell said, there are two kinds of people in the world. There are those that simplify and those that complicate. Pause. Those that simplify have a real job. Anybody can complicate something. You are a master when you can pull off this. And that is what we want to do in Lean. This next one is great. I recently spoke up at Kohler, Wisconsin to a Lean symposium up there. And one of the gals was the vice president of a big printing company. I have about 200 employees. And she looked at me and she goes, God, this is way too simple, man. I need something simple. My life's so complicated. And this is Emma teaching her team the 8 wastes print style with the Serbian calendar. And on the side is the president of the company cheering her on. And he is the biggest Lean zealot in the world for the last 6 months because they are transforming their company, 200 employees, based on the simple concept of teaching their people to see waste. And this is Emma teaching it and making it relevant. No acronym.
This is a little story about manufacturing and the printing of the Serbian calendar. And before we all shake our heads in pain and slight laughter, I'm just going to walk through the 8 wastes. This is a perfect example of doing all of them. So order comes in, and we printed way more sets of the Serbian calendar than we needed to. So what is that waste?
Overproduction.
So we had all these cards of calendars, and we had nowhere to put them. So we kicked them around the bindery over and over and over again. So what type of waste is that?
Transport.
So we overproduced, then we transported. And motion. Oh, that's coming. So we put these pallets, or these sheets, onto a pallet in the electrical room. We had so many of them. And we pulled from those sheets to fulfill all the orders. So what is that one? Inventory. We overproduced, transported it, and then put it in the inventory. So we have all these sheets sitting in this utility closet. It's dusty, it's dirty, some of them get damaged. So what did we have? Defects. We overproduced, we transported, we put it in the inventory, and then we let it get damaged for defects. So then, we got to pull our talented bindery people off the floor to sort through piles of sheets and pull out the damaged one. What is that waste?
Overprocessing.
Overprocessing. We overproduced, transported, put it in the inventory, discovered we had defects, and then we had to overprocess. Meanwhile, poor Father Vincent waiting for his calendars. So what's our 6th waste? Waiting. We overproduced, transport, inventory, defects, reworks, customers waiting. So all of this shuffling around of this calendar, all of these sorting back through it, waste of motion. Overproduced, transported, put it in the inventory, discovered we had defects, overprocessed, poor customers waiting, waste of motion, and the saddest of all is underutilization of our people. So our people are sitting, doing a very low value add work. They are not producing anything of value for our customer. They are not focusing on continuous improvement. And they are not solving any problems. So the last time we're going to do it. We overproduced. We transported. We inventory.
Look at the president of the company.
Overprocessing. Waiting. Motion.
Underutilization.
Thank you.
Right.
You know why he's excited? Because he turned his entire organization in 6 months.